to take it to the next level is so scary for a lot of people.
And my ass was not trying to take it to the next level with Miller.
Do you think maybe that's why he ghosted you?
Because I wasn't going to take it to the next level?
He doesn't feel like that he could come to you with that thought. But I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
Let's dive into this, because I think as like girls, we could always like root each other on, but sometimes we need to like also hold each other accountable.
Put it on me.
Hey guys, it's me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Broco Therapy. And guess the fuck what? We have Rose back on the pod for like the 100th time. I mean, honestly, she's here like once a month. On this week's episode, we read a listener's email about ghosting. And since Rose is still healing from her own ghosting experience, it just felt right to have her read this one. And plus, she was obviously requested for this email too. I really believe that sometimes the best way to process our own pain is by helping someone else through theirs. I don't know if that's like scientifically proven or whatever, but it's helped me and I hope it helps her too. If you want us to read your story or question on the pod, go to brocotherapy.com and send it in. And if you love Broco Therapy, don't forget to give us 5 stars, leave a review, or share this episode with your besties, lovers, and your ex-lovers. Now, let's get on to the show right after this break. Broke girl therapy. Wait, what were we talking about earlier?
Well, we were talking about my grill and how it's having a huge effect on men.
Is it really?
It's crazy. It's just a simple little, my little two-teat.
Well, where'd you get your grill?
Okay, so it was kind of a gift.
Yeah.
It was some friends and we basically like went and, one of my guy friends was like, hey, I'm about to go get a grill with me and the homies. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, like, I got my what's it called? Refund check. Like, let's just check this out, And I was just going to get one from my little snaggle. And so we went and we got it. Shout out to Alex at Lux Grills. He was an amazing dude. I loved him.
Maybe
and
I'll get a grill.
You should go to my guy Alex. And I literally was like, okay, I want a snaggle tooth because I like straight up like I'm embarrassed by it. And then after talking to my guy friend, he was like, you should get more than just the snaggle tooth. And I was like, well, how am I going to pay for it? And he was like, don't worry about it. And I was like,
he paid for it?
So he paid for the top two.
That's really nice of him.
Yeah, I know. I have to like applaud him.
Is he just like rich or something?
I mean, he was just like, he had, obviously come into some like money, and he was just like, you've been a really good friend and a homie. And so like, let me just like treat you and stuff.
Treat you to like a grill.
A grill. And so it's just these two that I like designed with Alex. And
so you just like wear all the time and it's
not
fine?
all the time. It's just special occasions.
Oh my God. Like the pod.
Like the pod.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted one. I mean, like, I've been infatuated with them, literally, Paul Wall, racing, you know what I mean?
Or, like, smile for me, Daddy.
With Nelly and Paul Wall.
Let me see your grill. Let me see your...
And I just, like, remember being like, oh, this is, like, one of the coolest things in the entire world. And then working on BMF, like, Meech would always say that he would carry enough jewelry on him that if he needed to, like, leave or run, he didn't need to stop at the bank because he was wearing enough, like, jewelry, watches, and chains to, like, pay for anything that he could hawk.
Hilarious.
And I was like, oh, my God, I can always sell my teeth. Like, it's just, like, most American thing in the world is to be broke with a gold tooth. So,
right.
Ding. But now I wear it and I go out, like if I go out to like bars and stuff, and I like smile and a guy's like literally I've watched men like kind of like clench and be like, I'm so sorry, wait, come back. To a point that I went to our mutual friend Katrina's birthday party.
Cute.
She at the smokehouse. And this lovely gentleman, I didn't even think anything of it. He was a very handsome guy. I like smiled and he was like, wait, hold on. Like, where are you going? Like, let me see your grill.
He's like, come on, shoddy.
Yeah, come on. He's from the South. So
okay.
He was, a little, had a little bit.
Southern.
You know how I am about a Southern man.
Yeah.
And so he was like, wait. Like, let me see your grill. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Let
and
me
I explained it to him.
Yeah.
And we just, casually got to talking because, the last time I was on the pod, I was like, girl, I am so booked and busy. I'm not trying to, this is the first time I'm not trying to have a summer fling. This is like me trying to stay focused on my own shit.
Yeah.
Trying to do my own thing. And so me and him were just talking because I was like, oh my God, like I found out how old he was. He was like, I'm 27. And I was like, oh. And then he told me, like, I was like, okay, well, if you're 27, like, tell me, like, what your dream girl is. Because, like, I'm, me, I'm, like, dating is a group sport. I want to get everyone involved. I'm trying to, like, hook everyone up. And he was like, well, my age range for girls is like 24 to 34. And I was like, well, I'm not in that category. So that made the conversation even more easier to talk to him. And so then we were just having a good conversation. And then my friend Sophia came up to us and was like, hey, like, we're about to go, or hey, I want to go see The Materials. I want to go see a movie with you. And and he was like, oh, can I come with you guys? And we're like, yeah, like we're making plans to go to the movie on Sunday. So, you know, I'm like, okay, 3 homies going to see a movie. Sophia texts me and she's like, what is it with you and that guy? And I was like, nothing. I think he's a friend.
Yeah.
Like, we'll call him Grills. I was like, I think Grills is like super chill. Like, I just really like his vibe. She's like, no. There's something happening between you two. Like, it's palpable. Like, you guys were locked in at the bar. And I was like, we were just having a good conversation. Again.
You're like, I could be locked in with just anybody.
I can charm a wall.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine.
Literally.
And then we go to the movies and he shows up a little late. Sophia's swearing up and down, this man's not going to show up. He's not going to show up. He's not going to show up. He shows up. So we watched the movie, The Materialist. Very good movie. Did enjoy it. And then we like stayed afterwards and we talked about the movie. And then Sophia was like, I need to go to Sephora. Like, can we go to Sephora? We go to Sephora.
You had a mall day.
We had like a cute little mall day with the 3 of us. And then I said something, I can't remember what it was. I made some quick joke or whatever. And he was like, man, you're so witty. That's why he was like, I was telling that to my mom. And Sophia like grabbed my arm. And I was like, oh, well, you know, you should also tell your mom that like she raised a really good guy. Like just not thinking anything of it. And then of course we get into the car and Sophia's like, that man like is into you. And I was like, man, but I don't know. Like, I don't feel I mean, when I was like thinking about, you know how like when you have a friend that's like retelling you everything and you're kind of like, wait, I guess so, but like the vibe. So then like, you know, just flirtatiously and making a call back to the movie, I like text him and I was like, hey, I'm going to make you a proposal. And he was like, what? And I was like, I think you and I should get dinner. And he was like, I actually would love that. Aww. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Like what day works for you? And so we like worked out a date and I'm going to have a date later this week. With the 27-year-old. Or I don't even know if it's a date. I think it's dinner.
Yeah.
I think it's just like super chill. I'm not thinking of anything of it.
He's 27? Why is he 27?
I know. Why is he 27?
Why is he 27?
I don't know. He had to be 27.
Yeah.
But he just seems, if anything, he just seems like a really sweet guy. And then, of course, though, I went to Lauren was at the party and she was like, no, Rose.
Is Lauren back?
No, she was just back for Katrina's birthday.
Okay.
Lauren was like, no, you guys were locked in. She was like, there was a vibe. She was like, it was pulsating. And I was like, again,
And it was the grill.
It was the grill.
That did this.
And the grill brought me this Grills. And so I'm going on a date with Grills, and I will report back.
Yeah, we have to report back. I mean, you're here like every month.
Yeah, pretty much at this point. I did fuck an EMT. That was fun.
You what? You fucked an
EMT.
Oh my
like,
God.
he's an EMT driver. I thought it was the hottest thing ever. And we just like I was like, I'm still on like dating
fuck
apps.
People? Like, when do you have the time?
It's always at night.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like late night. I'm like, look, I get off at 6:30. Or like, do you want to meet for drinks? And then it's like, but keep in mind, I also have gone on a couple dates.
Yeah.
And I've been like, okay, this was a great 20 minutes. I'm done. But the EMT, I was like, I'm catching a vibe. I was like, and in my mind, I was like, ugh, he's 29. He's a baby.
Right.
And I was like, gross. And then I was like, okay, you're not bad for a 29-year-old, you know, whatever. And then I was like, okay. And then the date turned into 3 hours. And I was like, I'm tired. Like, my feet hurt. Like, oh, I was wearing sneakers, but I was like, I'm tired. Like, take me
I was like,
home.
You were wearing heels?
I was like, you're an EMT driver. Take me home.
Yeah.
And then he's
like, over. No. And he sends you $1,000 bill.
Yeah, right.
Fuck, I should have called the ambulance.
Oh, Obamacare.
Right.
You know? But yeah, then we hooked up and it was cute. It was fun. But he's an EMT driver, so it's just like super nice to be. He's an EMT driver. He's an EMT driver, so it was like very like.
That's such a random job to have in LA. Even though it's like they're essential,
everywhere.
Right? They're everywhere.
They're essential.
They're an essential, but it's just like. But I feel like in LA, you usually meet some or other sort of artist.
Yes.
So to meet an essential,
yes, and another essential.
Yeah, then you're just like, whoa, you're out here. You're really out here.
You like live here for funsies?
Yeah.
Like you're not like with a dream and a hustle. You're like, just hustling.
You just
you're
got
just saving lives.
Right.
Fucking weirdo.
What the fuck?
I know. What's
You're not trying
to
like, yeah.
You're not trying to like, I don't know, chase your dreams.
Right,
and, like,
exactly.
make your mom
Write
proud.
a pilot with your best friends. What do you mean you're not doing that?
What do you
You're not going to
mean?
start a podcast?
Yeah, what do you mean you're not a chef / DJ / club promoter / actor on the side?
Right. Weird.
Weird. Yeah, no, he's a really good EMT driver. He's really good with
just
the
a
human
normal
body.
guy.
Yeah, he's really good with the human body. I was very
Yeah.
impressed with him. It was a great little like fling. We had fun.
Is he from LA?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, born and raised.
That's why he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't come here for the dream of being an EMT.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just like has always been like, he was like, I've always wanted to take care of people. I've always been like that kind of person. And like,
Yeah. He's like, I'm just trying to pay my bills.
yeah. And he's like, I'm really good in like calm situations. And so he had some friends that were like trying to become like firefighters. And then he like became an EMT and he was like, oh, I really like this job and I'm really good at it. He did try to put some like, okay, like we can have like a fling, but don't fall in love with me. And I was like, I will not. Like, I was like, how do I, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
trust me, bro.
You're like, relax.
Relax. You don't fall in love with how cool I am.
Yeah.
An agreement is made. So
Right.
yeah, that was like my one little thing about him is that I was like, ugh, okay, we get it.
That's icky. Oh, to date.
I know.
Should I just go on a date for fun?
I mean,
Like with a random person? Should I just do it with Brian and pretend like just role play?
yeah, why don't you guys just like, yeah, have you not done that where you just like meet up at a restaurant?
I can't take myself seriously. Because he's like, I'm down to do that, but you have to like actually really play into it. I was like, I'm too much of a giggly bitch to take anything seriously.
I think it has to be as a surprise then.
Yeah.
I think that like you could do it if it's like a surprise.
I don't think I could do it. As much as I would love to, I'm too much of a giggly bitch. I can't take myself seriously.
You little chuckle fucker.
Like, yeah, like, I'd be like, okay. Like, I would just make, like,
Yeah.
it just would not.
You couldn't stick to the bit.
No, I couldn't stay in character at all.
Okay.
Like, I'm not.
But you couldn't even do it with even if you had new hair.
Yeah, no. And
Oh,
nothing,
damn, I was
nothing
trying to
in
like
me.
help you out, girl.
I
was like
know.
a different wig, different.
I just knowing me,
Mhm.
I'm going to crack. I don't think I
Aw.
could do it. I would love to. I think it's super sexy. I think it's super fun. And I think Brian would be really good at it. But I'm just
That's
like,
what I'm
I'm a
saying. I
giggly,
feel like
I'm a
Brian would be-
giggly bitch. I can't take anything seriously. I won't take him serious. Like, I don't know. I'm just not.
Then maybe I don't know. Maybe it could be a surprise. I do think maybe there's a way to do it. I can't think of it
A
now. but give me some
surprise?
time. Yeah, like if he surprised you with like a romantic date of some sort. And it wasn't necessarily acting like you guys didn't know each other, but the actions of which, you know, the date, the setting, like if that like sparks some like, ooh, like what is this? Like this is like a whole new side of Brian. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, to spice things up, yeah, but to get into the actual role play,
I mean, you don't have.
I
That's
don't
what I'm saying.
think-
Eliminate the role playing
yeah.
and just turn it into kind of this like excitement.
Oh,
Of, like,
just like,
ooh,
ooh, it's
what
a
is
new date.
this? You know,
Yeah. I mean,
you could try it.
I mean, I'm down, but it's like, I don't know. Like, it's never, it's like, you could always spice things up and make a fun date. And like, without a doubt, that's
Yeah.
like a thing, but it's never going to feel like a real first date with someone on an app.
Yeah.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I
and
get
like, yes, I would honestly prefer to be with Brian on a date and having that be spicy than a random guy I don't know. But there's a part of me that sometimes misses the thrill of it, you know, of like going up to the date, being like, I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen.
Yes, there is the thrill, but keep in mind, like, you know, I'm telling you the ones that ended well. I mean, there was one where I was like, bro, I need to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I just was like,
But I
there is
kind
no
like I feel
spark.
like I sometimes like miss those too, like the bad dates. Like I think
They're
that's what
great
it is.
stories.
Like it's just like the moment of just being in such a weird like scenario and being
Yeah.
like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, I just have to leave.
And
I set a
I've done
timer
that. Yeah, I
always.
would just.
Oh, yeah.
You set a timer.
Now I do. I don't have time like that, bro. It's 20 minutes or less. It's like a fucking pizza.
Really?
In and out.
Wow. We date differently.
Well, because I don't want to waste anyone's time.
But 20 minutes to put a timer on?
I mean, I don't like. I'll give a grace period, but like it's 20
You're gonna
minutes.
press snooze.
Yeah, but most
Did
of
you
the time,
actually have a timer on?
No, I actually set a timer.
Whoa.
Well, just in case if it's also, here's the other thing that you're doing too. is if you have a timer on your phone, right? Let's make it 35. Let's make it an actual pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's 35 minutes and your phone goes off and you go, oh shit, my bad. And you reach for your phone and you can see almost their body like relax a bit and like they reach for their phone, then you're like, oh, this is a mutual thing. We both want an out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's like, you know what I mean? It's a great way to just be like, oh my God, like, oh, sorry, my friend's calling me, but like, how are you feeling? Do you want to continue? Do you want to get, it's a really good way to just be like, it's a good temperature check.
Yeah.
But then there's sometimes where I'm like, I don't even need the timer to go off to be like, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Actually, I don't know. I don't think we're vibing, but
You would
good
say
luck,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There was one time I was on a date with this guy. He was French.
Oh, Frenchman.
I mean, I don't know. This is the only
vibe.
Frenchman I've ever dated or went on a date with or even talked to or entertained.
Cute.
But obviously we met on an app and he was like, okay, meet me at this place for dinner or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually in Glendale. And so I went over and the restaurant was like closed for the night. And I'm like, this is the right place, but I'm so confused. Like, I thought we were going to like have some food, whatever. And so then I hit him up and I see that he's like, because there's like chairs and stuff on the outside of the restaurant. And he's like sitting in one of the chairs. And I was like, okay. And he's like, oh, like take a seat. And he didn't even like get up and
like hug you,
me,
greet you. Oh, that's
even
weird.
fucking shake my hand, nothing. He was just like,
Not
take,
even a dab.
no,
Like, what up, homie? You
literally
know?
just said, take a seat. It was so
What is
weird.
this, a job interview?
Right,
Well,
that's
in a
what it
weird
felt
way,
like. In a
kinda
weird
is
way, but
sometimes.
like, no.
Mm-mm.
Even in a job interview, you like at least like
Stand up and shake the person's hand.
right.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and it was just like really weird and an uncomfortable conversation. And I always like replay this in my head. I'm like, was it a culture thing? Is it just him or is it like why was this so
This
weird?
does sound like a weird French film. The way you're describing it to me.
Yeah.
The restaurant was closed. He sat outside smoking the world's longest cigarette. He did not look at me or address me when he told me to take a seat, my lord.
It's like, yeah, that's
It's
so weird.
French.
Okay.
And it started raining.
Yeah, I was
You know
gonna say
what I
I
mean?
see rain. I mean, it didn't rain, but like
you
I
see
wouldn't be
it, you
surprised
sense
if it
you
happened.
Smell it,
Right.
you know. All of a sudden, there's one candle that's like burning very, very
Right.
quickly. You know,
Weird.
Just like the flame between you two is about
Oh,
to go
God,
out. It's
literally.
metaphor. Everything's French and everything's a metaphor.
That's crazy. Okay, well,
All of a sudden, it's in black and white.
yeah. I'm like, wait,
And you're like,
like
wait,
I actually don't see color.
yeah, what's happening?
Right.
And then that was it. It was just
So we were talking, and you know, we were just getting to know each other. Like, what do you do? And then at that time, I was, in the fashion industry, or
Right.
whatever. So I was telling him like a little bit of what I was doing. He's like, fashion. He's like, do people even like watch those runway shows?
I'm sorry, he's French.
Exactly. And I was
French
just like,
capital
right.
of fashion. I mean, the fashion capital. I
Hello,
feel like
we go
okay.
to you guys.
Yeah, right?
Right. So
okay, sir.
right. That's why I was like, he might just have been weird.
Yeah, fair.
And also he like showed up in like sweatpants. Like he wasn't like dressed, you know.
Oh, he's one of those French that like the American culture.
What do you mean?
Sorry, maybe I'm just assuming. I'm making a lot of assumptions.
Who knows?
Right now.
Yeah, we're making we just.
But like sweatpants, I'm like, I don't know a single French person that like wears sweatpants unless they're like tapered and
right.
tailored.
No, it was just
And like, you know, Jean Galliano or something, you know, some designer, whatever.
right. Obviously, he's not into fashion, so it's not anything fancy. But
They were Kirkland brands.
right, exactly. It's Kirkland.
Kirkland
shout out to
signature.
Kirkland though.
Love them.
Right, love Kirkland. And so he was just like, it was just insulting that. It was just like, who even watched those fashion shows? I was like,
That's so weird.
first off, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's a whole culture of that. I'm sorry, it's not like sports where you just turn it on and watch it. Like it's whatever. And so I was just like already weirded out. And he was like, "Oh, like let's go on a walk, whatever." And so we went on a walk, and then I remember him mentioning that his like apartment was across the street. And so I was like, "Okay,
No.
I know where this is going."
Yeah.
And I'm not at that place. Plus, it's like you're not even mentally stimulating me. Like
How you gonna lube me up down
like
there if you can't
right.
lube me up here, bro?
It was like you're just like red flags after red flags. Like you're
Yeah.
not setting this up for me to feel comfortable with
Also,
you.
you didn't invite me to a restaurant. You didn't eat.
Right.
That's
it was
weird,
closed.
homie. That's weird, homie. Did you work
Weird.
at the restaurant?
I don't know. I don't think so. That never, like, whatever.
Okay.
And so
This is so bizarre. I've never heard you tell
so
this
bizarre.
story.
Yeah. And so I remember texting my friend, like, hey, call me. I'm on a bad date. Like, da-da-da. And so we're walking and I see there's like a boba shop over there. I'm like, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then my friend calls me. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? And so I like stayed on the phone with her and I was like, I think I'm just going to dip. Like, I'm just going to go. And so I like booked it. Like I don't know if I ran, maybe a little jog because I don't run like that.
That's
but
fair.
I fast walked
Hell yeah, you did.
to my car because I was like making sure he didn't see me, you know. And then I get a text and he's like, you're just leaving? So I guess he did see me. And I was just like, yeah, not my vibe or whatever. And then he's like, wow, like Americans or da-da-da.
Okay, French pulled out of fucking. You let Germany walk all over you, bro. It's a whole movie called Casablanca. French, shut the fuck up. You want to talk about pulling out? No one does it better than the French. Just
Right.
saying.
So
History.
yeah, so then
Keep going, my
history
bad.
lesson, yeah.
What am I, a dad? With fucking World War II facts right now? I can't stand myself. You want to talk about the Battle of the Bulge?
If it's not American politics.
Yeah, I know, right? If it's not abortion, genocide, American politics, it's World War III, my
right,
guy.
you're gonna bring up some other
Battle of the Bulge, more like you ain't got no bulge in your sweatpants, my
there
guy.
you go. Right, and so
Okay.
yeah, and then I never spoke to him again, and I was just like, that was
sometimes
a
you
weird
gotta.
date.
Sometimes I've never
it's a great
dipped.
story.
I've never like. I've always been like, yeah, I just gotta go.
But I was like, I remember the feeling because you know when your nervous system feels something.
oh, without a doubt,
And
you're like, this is gonna.
in that
this is
moment,
weird.
I was like, my nervous system was like, go. Don't just like this man's weird
Mhm.
red flags. He's insulting the fashion industry. His apartment's right there. He's not dressed. Like, just leave now before you.
It goes
Because at least there's still people around. Like we're in
Yeah.
a public area. Like go before I'm at a place where I can't. You know.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I booked it.
I'm proud of you. Get out of there.
Yeah, get out of there, and I did.
We don't need to be there.
Right. So shout out to I don't have stories like that anymore.
But you still have
They still have
them.
I still do have a lot. I'm like, I'm trying to think of like more dating stories.
That's what I'm
that I've
saying.
had.
You have to like start writing them down and like collecting
Yeah.
them. There will be a broke girl therapy book. I promise you. You know what I mean? So you just need to collect these stories.
Yeah, I mean, they're all up in here.
Exactly.
And now we're on the
And
pod.
then I know, and we have to sit down and we'll have to like put them all in a book for you and everything. But you have them.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, you know, as a single girl in these streets right now who's like not really in it as much, it's very crazy how I literally think it was Rachel who was like, when I was like, I'm not really looking for anything, and she's like, you've opened the door. Now everything's gonna come to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and the grill's not helping with it either, because every time I smile, a man's like, wait,
Someone's
whoa,
like,
hey,
you got
hi.
grills. Yeah, let's talk about
And
it.
I'm not kidding you. It's
And you're really like,
truly-
you wouldn't like just looking at you first impression, you wouldn't think you would have grills on.
no.
So it's just like, whoa.
It's a fun little like, ooh, what's that?
Right.
Like, hey.
Like, what's this white woman
Yeah, well, yeah, I know.
with
But,
grills on?
you know, I
Nothing wrong with
respectfully.
being white.
Huh?
I said nothing wrong with being white, but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, we don't have like the best PR right
Right,
now.
it's
Like, I
like-
will say that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean, like, look, I understand as a white woman that has a grill, that also is like something where it's like, okay, where is that coming from? And like, don't get me wrong, like, Paul Wall is like immediately who I think of, like when I think of white men who wear grills. But I also feel like grills are very much saturated in like black culture and like black, fashion and all that stuff, that there is a really thick line between, it's not a thin line, it's a really thick line between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
yeah, for sure.
And I definitely feel like, yeah, like I know exactly why I'm wearing this grill.
yeah.
It's because I saw
Oh,
really.
sorry. I didn't mean to make it seem
no,
like you
but
were
like-
culture appropriate. And
no,
now I
but I think
realized
that's-
that maybe
honestly,
that
I
sounded
think
like
it's
that was doing
addressing
that.
the
Okay,
grill
I
in
didn't
the
really
room.
mean to make it seem like that was that, but then
No,
now that
but
you're
I
saying
feel
it,
like,
oh, I didn't
but
mean to.
honestly, it's something that I've thought about. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right,
Where I'm
right.
like, yeah, I gotta address the grilled elephant in the room in the sense of like that's it.
That's
but
from the black culture.
Yeah, but I'm also like,
but to me, it isn't. You're not doing it in an offensive. I mean, I'm not a black.
I
person,
had one of
so-
our mutual friends, just one,
Oh,
who was
okay.
like, "Hey, just to let you know, it didn't offend her. She just was like, it kind of frustrates me sometimes that white people can take something." And pretend they don't know where it comes from. And I just was like, girl, you know.
But yeah.
But she just wanted to voice that. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, as that white girl who's willing to sit in that uncomfortableness and represent the one girl that you probably wanted to say it to, absolutely, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, held that space for her. And I could tell, like, as she was like letting it out, it was like almost like her being like, oh my God, thank you for staying for my TED Talk. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome.
Right.
I'm still going to wear it. And then she was like, cool, you should. And then that was
Right.
it. But I think that's like a thing to be aware of. Like, I know exactly where all my like fashion comes from and like all my inspirations and things. I'm not going to wear it as like a costume. It's like something I'm wearing as appreciation.
That actually, like, I had like a really interesting conversation with Sixella Fierce. Shout out to Sixella Fierce. Because she's very pro-black, of course. She's a black woman. And we were talking about Alabama Barker.
Fascinating. Her and
so,
Bad Barbie.
Bad Baby, yeah.
Bad Baby. Barbie.
Yeah,
I don't know. She both of them are Barbies.
Right, exactly.
Okay, anyways.
It first talked about just like the feud
Yeah.
that was going on. And then we talked about specifically Alabama Barker. And, you know, my stance being like, she's very much takes from like the black culture as far as like her hair and the way that she dresses. And I mean, thankfully she hasn't been caught saying the N-word or anything like that. But just even in the way that she speaks is kind of in that kind of world, you know, especially because she is a privileged, super rich white woman, grew up in Calabasas. Like, she's not just like, she was just a regular
She didn't
white
grow
woman.
up in like a neighborhood that was very diverse
Right, she
and had
didn't
a
grow up
lot
with-
of black
right.
friends growing up and was the only white girl. Well, me and Brittany were the only white girls in our elementary school.
Exactly. She
Shout
didn't
out
grow up with
Brittany.
around that. Like, she was
Yeah.
probably the most privileged you could get as a white woman at that. And not for nothing, like, it's like her dad's Travis Barker, so she's very punk rock, whatever. So, but Six, interestingly enough, was like, oh, I'm actually like not offended by that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
That's shocking to me,
I
too.
know, and she was like, yeah, like I followed her, and I really like that I think she looks really cute and everything.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, I don't even think she really like talks black like that. If anything, Bad Baby talks more like I was like, yeah. But she was just saying, like, she's like, I think there's a difference between like wearing it and still like respecting the culture versus like stealing it. I disagree, but also who am I to like tell a black woman how she feels? But
Without a doubt.
But like we like definitely had a discussion, and she also understands why I feel the way that I feel. But I was just like, but it was just interesting because, I don't know. I still stand by that Alabama Barker is definitely culture appropriating because
I'm with you. My thing is like you said, I can't tell. I would never tell a black woman the way that I feel is how they should feel, right? And this idea of that you're like, I don't want you to feel like I don't want you to think that aligned with my thinking. But I will say, as a white woman who watches that kind of white woman, I can't help but be like, girl, that's not how we were raised.
Right. Yes.
And
that's
so-
exactly what I was saying too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
Just that idea of that,
Yeah.
like, as it's not a conversation. I think that that as a white woman, if I'm having it with like a woman of color or a black woman, and you're telling me this stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm hearing you and here to listen, but it is not my place to agree or disagree.
Right.
My place is just to literally, like my friend, she needed an event about how she was like, I think white people take everything. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to like let you have that space. But when I look at the white girls, and if I was across in Alabama, I would literally look at her and be like, what makes you so attached to this? Like, I would want to know more.
I would want to dig more deep. Yeah.
Because I know exactly why. And I'm just going to say it. It's mostly because black people are cool. But the thing
yeah,
is,
exactly.
everyone wants to listen to rap music and everyone wants to be black until they get pulled over by the cops. And then all of a sudden, it's not as fun anymore. Like you want to basically claim the job title without doing any of the requirements, right? So it's a privilege as white people to be able to have those things where it's like you can she can choose to do that. And then it's like, yeah, but Alabama, when you do it, like you have white girls being like, that's really cute. But when they see like a black girl doing it, they're like, well, that's ghetto.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well then there you go. There's the double standards of it all. But I do think it's a conversation that is really important to have because, again, it's not a thin line. It is a very thick line between a cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. And I think also the other thing is, for me personally, the accent is what always gets me because I'm like, I don't get that because I don't even know the girls that I grew up like. I'm like, I've never sounded like that, and I've never known my friends.
And for me,
to
with
like
Alabama's like accent, like I every time I go to Calabasas, I'm like, damn, this is just a richer version of Valencia. Like it literally looks so much like Valencia and Santa Clarita, except just with like
way more money,
different
tax bracket.
Exactly, just a different tax bracket. And just with like literally estates and like mansions and shit. And so I would assume that the culture, especially in the way that we speak, is very similar. So I know because I grew up in a very obviously similar neighborhood in a sense of like being a Valley girl.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a Valley girl accent.
Yeah.
That's just, it's there, it's thick, and I own it.
So cute.
You know, it's so cute. And it's just, she grew up with girls who sound like me.
Yeah.
And so, and for me, as much as I love Black culture, Black music, Black men, it's just, it feels so inauthentic to start talking like them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
I hear you on that.
And that's kind of what I was like telling Six. I was like, I'm sure you just see her Instagram posts and you think her photos are cute and she looks cute, and she does. She's a beautiful girl.
Because let's be honest, when Black women do it, it's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful. She's a beautiful
stunning.
girl. It's stunning.
So of course you like the way she places her toddler's hairs to look like baby hairs.
Right.
But white girls don't have baby hairs.
But I was like, but she grew up very similar to me, if anything, even more privileged in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I even asked Six, I was like, if I started wearing braids, you wouldn't be offended? And she's like, I feel like that'd be kind of weird. I was like, yeah.
And that's where I think
I'm like,
the
but why
fame
is she
factor,
the fame factor. That's what it is. The fame factor.
Because let's just
and
Kardashians.
Exactly.
I mean, you all have Black
She's
bodies.
associated with the Kardashians.
You literally, those women have all basically tried to become Michaela Cole, like with her body, with the lips, with everything. Like you basically paid to look not white,
right?
And it's okay because you can. It's acceptable, unfortunately, you know. And then the idea of like you were saying, where it's like you didn't grow up with those people, so like where did you get this accent from? Well, she probably thinks like she is part of that culture because her phone, you know what I mean? Like you can see it and you feel like you're part of it, because I do think this new generation, their idea of community and connection isn't that of people in their actual vicinity or their literal cul-de-sac. It's the global sense of the community of friends that you meet and make. Because I'm like, yeah, isn't she like dating like a rap, or was dating a rapper, or like all that stuff? And it's like, well, your dad's connected in the music world, so then of course you're part of this.
I think I've heard something where she was saying like, I, like have known Nicki Minaj. Like I grew up with all of these like Black like artists, and I feel like, again, it's like that fame thing of like, oh, so you got to pass because like you're connected and you're copying these artists that you actually like. For instance, it's like people always compare it to Lotto. It's like, oh, because you actually know Lotto and you have that connections. It's that give you like some sort of pass. It's really weird. And I think it's like if it was me that wore the braids, y'all would be hella offended.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would.
I'm deeply offended when she does it.
I know. And I think a lot of people are still offended with Alabama Bucker. Yeah. But there is the other side of people just kind of like let it go because it's just like whatever. And I also think that maybe I should have asked Six this question is like, maybe are you just like tired of that like mentality, you know?
That's a fair question.
That you just kind of like, whatever, she looks cute, and you just like just try to just keep it pushing, because that's fair too.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I do think
I probably should ask her that.
And that's probably where my friend came from when she was like talking about the girls, is that she does seem very tired being like, damn, as Black people, can we have one thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can we have one thing? And my main response was like, you guys have many things. It's just unfortunate that we live in a world where the Kardashians get braids and they call them boxer braids, and it's like, do not try to resell something and get away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the whole controversial thing with the Kendall Jenner white tank that's happening right now, when she's literally just wearing like a wife beater like tank top, and people are like, girls are like, yeah, I'm wearing like the Kendall Jenner like white tank, and people are like, what the fuck? And then there's that other side. People are like, why are we calling it a wife beater? That's a fucking controversial name too.
Wait, but can I tell you something real quick?
What?
And this actually will bring everything together full circle.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm working on a pilot about my childhood and like what a eventful childhood it was.
Yeah.
And something I learned, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this, something I learned earlier this year as a fucking 35-year-old woman is that tank top is called a wife beater, right? Very offensive term. No, little Rosie, growing up in Rainier Valley, Beacon Hill, Mount Baker area, surrounded by a lot of Black kids and a lot of Asian kids, very diverse area.
Yeah.
I thought they were saying they were white beaters, because that's what they would wear when they
I used to get confused too. I used to be conflicted, but then eventually
I was 35.
Until you're 35.
I called my dad and mom and I was like, they're called white beaters. And they were like, well, yeah, because of how you grew up. And my dad was like, we thought it was funny, so we never corrected you.
Oh, because white beaters are like a really controversial. It should just be called a white beater.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's funnier that it's a white beater.
Yeah,
I think it's funny because, like, it literally is the fact that it's like both are offensive.
Right.
But I just think one is funnier. I'm like, oh no, a white beater is like, I think a far more acceptable term.
Right.
Because I just grew up with all those boys wearing them, and then that's what they would wear when they would, take their shirts off.
It's the Kendall Jenner tank top. So.
Oh man, and she, it's whatever.
Like,
I'm gonna reclaim it as the white beater.
Hell no, y'all don't be going to Walmart getting them packs of them fucking tank tops and like making the But
like I'm just gonna claim it now as the white beater. I'm gonna reclaim it.
Yeah, we're gonna rewrite the narrative
from her. I'm gonna be like, no, it's called the white beater. White trash, white beater. I'm owning it. 2026. Bitch, I'm gonna market that stuff, man. Don't you dare. Kendall, Kylie, fucking on those hoes. Anyways, sorry.
We do have an email.
Okay, let's go.
So let's
do we solve racism with a Pepsi?
I think we did solve racism with a white beater.
Oh man.
With a Pepsi?
With a Pepsi? That's been my favorite thing with the protests is someone like tweeted, where's Kendall and her Pepsi?
We need Kendall now stat with her Pepsi.
Fucking A. It only took me this far into it to talk about the protests.
Right?
Yeah. Fuck ICE.
I don't know. Right. Fuck ICE.
I will say though, and I'm gonna put it on the podcast first, because if someone steals this idea, I will prove it. I wanted to make a shirt for my homies in Seattle for when they go to the protests that say Seattle freeze against ICE.
Dang.
Marketing that soon. I'm trying to work with my friend Tori on like a thing, but yeah. Cause fuck ICE, bro.
And do you want to read this one?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't wear my glasses today, but we can do it.
Okay. I just don't like hearing myself read.
Okay. I think I'm being... Oh, Jesus. This is too real. This is too real. Is this why she wanted me? Is this why?
Yeah, probably.
Holy shit. Oh, my God. Okay. Submission. I think I'm being ghosted. I'd be down for anyone, but I think Rose...
I think Rose is great for
would be the most insightful. I love her. Oh, I love you too. Oh my God, you're such a sweet person. I don't even know anything about you, but I love you.
Now you're about to know about me.
I am not a professional. I don't actually know anything about life.
Yeah.
Please take all this shit with the largest grain of salt. I'm just cute and funny, but not real. Well, I'm cute and funny, but not like a real adult.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything that we say on this podcast should be fact checked. Like nothing
all the time.
All the time.
Except my feelings.
Yeah.
They're real.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Okay.
We're not no one's professionals.
Yeah. Hey, Steph. I've been listening to the pod for the past 6 years.
6
now.
years?
That's an OG right there.
Wow.
That's a
Shout
great
out to
friend.
you for, one, listening and two, staying.
I mean,
because a
way
lot
to
of people
go.
left, a lot of people dipped.
I know. I
And
did
y'all
not
are
help
here.
with that, by the way.
What do you mean?
Well, because, every time I would bring up, I don't know, genocide, abortion, or
No,
politics.
I think just other things.
Yeah, true. Fine. I truly look forward to every episode, and I love how all of your guests can bring a different perspective and outlook on real life situations.
You get it, bitch. You get it.
To tell you a little bit more about myself, I'm a 29-year-old, Pisces sun, Capricorn moon, Aquarius rising, born and raised in LA. I'm currently living in LA now as a full-time DJ. She's an artist.
I wonder
love
if we
it.
met her. I wonder if she's been to the live show.
Maybe. If you can come to we'll come be your friend.
Yeah. Let us know if you're DJing anywhere. We'll go.
Oh my God, we should go support her. We have to support our DJ girl.
Yeah.
Dating in the music industry has been really tough though. Yeah. Guys have this weird God complex, which I can't stand. So I just steer away from men in the scene. But it's super hard to meet new people when I'm around them all the time. I took a break from dating for the past couple of years to focus on myself. Of course, I've had a couple flings here and there, but nothing serious. In February, I re-downloaded Hinge and matched with this guy. Let's call him Taurus. Me and Taurus went on our first date at the end of February, and we literally talked for 7 hours that night. Oh, I love that.
I know. I love those moments.
They just keep the time. Just where did it go?
Where did it go? Non-existent.
It went really well. Our conversation flowed, and we never ran out of things to talk about. He's a nurse.
Dang.
Oh my God.
Is he Filipino?
Nurses are sluts, though.
Nurses are sluts and know how to party.
Yes, they do, because
Yeah.
they know how to get the good drugs.
Exactly.
I hate to say it. Sorry. Anyways, he's a nurse who works nights.
And nurses were probably bullies in high school. That's what they always say.
Whoa, I've never heard that. I'll take that.
I always see that on comments and TikToks is oh yeah, the bullies always become a nurse.
Wait, that's so... Wait, that they've been bullied or they were the bully?
They were the bully.
So were Filipino aunties just bullies all in high school?
Fuck you guys. What the hell does that mean?
Wait, yeah, that's what I'm like. Every fucking nurse I've ever loved or liked was named Rosie and was a Filipino grandma or auntie. Dang. Do they just mean this generation of nurses? Maybe?
Yeah,
okay, maybe that's what they mean. Not the ones that wanted to take care of their families.
Yeah.
Okay, so
which not all my friends were bullies, but some. Yeah, I can see that tracks.
We'll see about. I mean, he is a Taurus. The bull,
Yeah.
Hey. He's a nurse who works nights, which I absolutely love because he's not in the music industry whatsoever.
Perfect.
We've been seeing each other consistently for the past couple months. It's only been officially 4 months of dating. I would say things have been going really well. We also have incredible sex chemistry, which I love.
Yeah.
But things have been kind of weird these past couple weeks. After we hung out 2 weeks ago, he got really sick. Oh, bitch, this is triggering for me. Okay. He got really sick and didn't hang out or talk for a few days, which is understandable because he was sick. Then he works nights, and I didn't really hear from him because he works from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and sleeps all day the next day. Last week, I checked in on him because it was a while since we talked, and I just wanted to see how he was doing. We chatted for a little bit, and everything seemed fine. Oh, I forgot to add, his dog has also been sick while he was sick, so it seems like he's been dealing with a lot at home. Okay, I actually dealt with a sick dog a week ago. Girl, I don't know what she got into, but I was in home in Seattle and she was vomiting oh my God, it was scary. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Now she's fine.
Okay.
You know what
Is
I mean?
Jasper still there? He's sleeping?
He's my best friend.
Wow.
He's
ever since, I'm not going to say ever since his balls chopped off, he's still a little crazy, but he's not as psycho.
It's doable crazy.
It's doable crazy.
Doable.
Yeah. He's not like this fucking horn dog trying to get off on something. Because he peed on your jacket last time.
Oh my God, he did.
Yeah, and that was the last straw, actually. When he peed on your jacket, I was like, okay, we got
to do it. But I got it dry cleaned and it got out. So don't worry.
Okay.
And
no.
as a pet mom to a pet mom. Completely understand.
Yeah, you were really nice about that.
I was like,
I felt so bad.
I literally, did you know that what I did is I tied it, I put the hook, you know how a jackets always have a hook, little loop or whatever, hooked it, and then I put it, rolled up the window and had it just air dry out the window.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so that's how I did that.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. The day after we chatted, I got a text saying he had to take his dog to the ER. No. I told him to please keep me updated, and if he needed anything, to not hesitate to reach out. Didn't hear from him after that. The next day, I texted him if there was anything updated, no response. Oh, God. Then the day after that, I called him, and he didn't get an answer, so I started to get a little worried, and I texted him with the response. Sorry, now I'm reading fast. The response, hey, I hope you're okay. I'm getting ready for work right now, but I'll explain everything. Oh, he responded, hey, we're okay. I'm getting ready for work right now, but I'll explain everything later when I sit down. I didn't respond to that text because I was expecting a follow-up text but never got one. Next day, I message him again, saying I was thinking about him and hope his shift was doing smoothly. No response. I do preference that he's not a great texter, but he did do a good job at checking in with me consistently, even when it was once a day. So the last text that I got him was on Sunday night. Well, it's now Wednesday afternoon, and it's been radio silence, which I may be worried. I don't want to get too overly overbearing, especially if he's going through something or if his dog's not doing well. I just wish that he communicated that. But I also have a feeling that he might just need some space or something seriously happened. What should I do? Ooh.
Dang, okay.
Dear
However,
Aries.
she did send a follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part 2 email.
Oh, my God, there is?
Yes.
Pull it up.
Pull it up.
Oh, my God, Jesus Christ.
So before we give her any advice, I want to see what the part 2 says.
Oh, my God.
So it's like his dog got sick.
Mm-hmm. He got sick.
And then
He's a nurse. It's
and
a
he
demanding
just
job.
started like
He's
kind
a
of just
bully.
stopped talking to her. And it's been how long now?
Well, that was first email was on May 28th.
Okay, she sent me an email the next day.
Oh, I think I'm being ghosted. Follow up. New fear unlocked. Whoa. Taking film photos of guys you're dating only for him to ghost you and use those photos on his Hinge profile.
That's fucked up.
Tell me why last night, after day 4 of radio silence, I re-download Hinge to check his profile. The way that the entire thing is completely updated with new photos, 2 of which I took. Reflecting back on the 4 months with this dude, there were a bunch of red flags that I ignored. It's okay, we all do.
Yeah.
He told me in the past that girls have crashed out bad on him, one of which tried to break into his apartment by hopping his fence. Another huge red flag was on our first date. He showed me this text thread with a girl who was crashing out on him through text that day and just brushed it off to be like, oh, she's crazy. But it seems like there's a common denominator here.
Yeah. He's avoiding.
I have a feeling this guy just does this on the regular and sees girls for a good amount of time, and then he ghosts them when he gets bored. I can tell the crash out girls give him or when it gets too
serious. It's probably not even just when it gets boring.
Yep. Or what fuels his lure and ego. So I'm going to the opposite of crash out and do nothing. He has been unfollowed and removed as a follower on IG.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, good thing we read that before we gave advice.
Well, you're doing great. You're doing Pisces, you're doing
I feel
really
like
well.
you're
Girl,
regulating
doing really well.
yourself and you're self-aware and
But the
but
photos I took of
the
you?
audacity. First off, he seems like, just based off of this information, he seems like an avoidant attachment. So he does not know how to fucking like face the issue and talk about it. And 2, it's probably like when things become serious. For instance, this becomes serious when you're sick and your dog is sick and like things happen. And when you actually show up for a person, some people don't know how to receive love.
Girl, did I not learn that lesson? I learned that lesson.
When you're there for them like that, and it's good that continue to be that person because the right person's going to love it and accept it because they know how to receive love in a healthy way.
That part.
But he just showed himself, basically.
He showed his cards.
Like, just based off of the information. And who knows, it could have been like some other shit. I mean, women, we don't just go crazy for no reason. I mean, some do.
But here's my thing. It's
for the most
thin
part,
margin.
That's what I say. It's a really thin margin. But if it's a consistent thing that happens all the time with girls that you date or people that you date, he's the problem.
That's the number one question I ask guys on dating apps is I go, how many of your exes would you call crazy?
Yeah.
And if they say all of them, immediate unmatched. Because I'm like, bro, that's a you problem.
That's a you problem, Lynn. You're going to fuck me up and I'm not down.
Yeah, no. If all your exes are crazy, okay, what did you do? Yeah. Why are they like that?
Why are they like that?
Bro, it's not like that.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing. I would say the exact same thing to a dude. If a guy was like, hey, I met this girl. She seems really cool, but she told me all her exes are crazy. I'd be like, run, homie.
Right.
Get
exactly.
the fuck out.
Exactly.
The common denominator, the call is coming from inside the house.
Exactly.
It's them. And they need to work on themselves. They need to understand what is it about their actions and their learned experiences that turn into a toxic trauma that they take out on relationships. And it's like, yeah, you should be able to take that out on someone. It's called a therapist. You shouldn't take that out on other people, especially people that are, trying to find love. I will say, though, dating apps are built for people with avoidant attachment styles.
That's true.
So it is hard
you could
to
just easily just move on to the next.
Exactly. It's ordering. It's
you
Uber
don't need
Eats.
you don't need to face shit. You could just ignore a message.
Exactly. You can unmatch and feel nothing, which I've done numerous times sometimes, you know what I mean? Or just been like, I was craving something way different tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's built for people with the avoidant attachment styles. So if you're someone who's like, I'm going to give this because I honestly feel like there's no other way to meet people, like our dear reader, who's like, I'm in the music industry. I just need to like be on an app to just meet people that are not in my industry. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because you will find someone who eventually is kind of the same situation as you. You'll probably meet a mechanic who's like, I just fucking want to meet someone outside of my job.
Right.
That seems like a good girl. But like, it is the apps are meant for that kind of, because also they want you to come back. A successful app is one where you're still single.
Exactly.
I mean, apps want you to be single.
I mean,
the same way cigarettes are addictive.
Exactly. Yeah, because they need
they need you to keep smoking. You know what I mean? So it's hard. But I do think with people like this, I mean, he has an addiction. I mean, he's just addicted.
The way that he just easily bounced back and went on that app and just was just like, all right, clean slate. Like, that's, again, I truly believe it's not even because he got bored. I think it's because he doesn't know how to get to the next phase with somebody.
Yeah.
Because once you start showing up for somebody and once you start getting closer, then your true colors are going to be shown. And some people are scared to fucking do that.
Yeah.
So they self-sabotage, ghost, or whatever because they're fucking cowards and don't know how to just like fucking say how the hell they feel.
Miller.
Sorry, I don't mean to like call them cowards because they have their own fucking traumas. Well, and I can't, but it's a cowardly move.
Nah, man,
they're not horrible people. It's a cowardly move.
You know me, I ain't got sympathy for people who can't. Why would you ghost when you can have the last word? I don't understand that shit. I'm like, are you kidding me? I practice monologues in traffic. Like, it's just...
You're like, why wouldn't you want to say your last word and your last goodbye in that closure? What kind of sick fuck would
It's just weird to me. The ghosting is just so weird to me. But like you said, it's coward people. But sure, just own that. Be a coward. The same way that I could be a punk-ass bitch sometimes and sensitive. Like, it's just who you is. Like, the thing that upsets me, especially, this is so triggering, because it literally is the formula of Miller. Like... And I'm also feeling some type of way, too, because Miller and I, like, it's been a year since we matched in June of last year.
Wow.
And so it was like, that was 9 months of, like, that man wasn't my boyfriend. I was fucking other people.
Right.
I assume he was fucking other people, too.
You liked him.
But I liked him. I enjoyed his presence. He was number one on my roster. Right. But to literally just drop me just made me be like, oh, bro, this has it took me a long time to get to this, but, like, this has nothing to do with me. You just seem to just maybe not have any self-respect for yourself. If you don't even have self-respect for me to just be like, hey, girl, I'm not really feeling this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then also, more importantly, you a corny ass hoe. You ain't going to say nothing to me. Just be like, hey, or just like a simple, like, I thought this motherfucker died, okay? Because he told me, hey, I got to go to my grandma's house. Her place was on fire. And then I hear nothing.
Yeah.
I looked it up. He didn't die. But I'm just saying, like, it's just so crazy to me. And then also, you know, his best friend reached out to me to find out why my best friend wasn't talking to him. And I was like, see, but you got these little, like, troll-ass homies that are trying to stay in my circle.
Right.
And then you got his dumbass being like, oh, Miller doesn't tell you why he's no longer talking to you? No, motherfucker, he didn't. But some men were built with penises and not backbones. It's hard to find a man with both.
I mean, are you still like upset?
I'm
I feel
fine. Just kidding.
I feel like you're still upset about it, which is fair. You have every right, because I think it's really confusing. And I feel like I remember feeling that way. Charles, I feel like it's the biggest one, I think, because similar situation, we were fucking for like 4 to 6 months, you know, and then to just completely stop all communication and not talk to me or anything like that. It's just like, it's so like messed up. Like ghosting when maybe you went on one date and it just didn't fit. Okay, cool, whatever. That, like, it's fine. We don't need to have a conversation. Not everything needs to be a conversation. But if you had been inside me, you had made me come. I put your dick in my mouth.
You know that's you and me's thing. If I put your dick in my mouth, you better have some words coming out of yours.
I just feel like it's mad disrespectful. Like, I just think that, especially when you've spent time with someone and you've been in, especially when you've been intimate with someone. And with Charles, what pissed me off was like, I was celibate before him because I really wanted to find a relationship. But when I met him, I was just so in lust. So I ended up like making the decision to do that. And so he knew like my journey with that. So to make that cowardly decision to not speak to me and just ignore me and treat me just like fucking disposable trash, fuck you. I think that's mad disrespectful. I think you're a fucking coward. I think you're an idiot. And I'm healed now. Obviously, I've like moved on.
Yeah, no,
but like,
no,
I'm not triggered or anything.
Everyone gets tap into their anger. This is how actors do it. Shit,
exactly. But it's just like when you really think about it, you're just like, that's hella disrespectful.
It's rude as fuck.
It's so mean.
It's immature and childish. And the other thing is like, that's my whole thing about Miller. Bro, I told you this is what I wanted. We followed the rules. You broke them. One of them was just to communicate and don't make me look stupid or crazy. Well, you broke all 3 in one day, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Right. And my other thing is I even kept telling him, I was like, I gave him an out. I was like, bro, you're dealing with a lot. If you need to step away. And he was like, I can't lose you. I don't want to lose you. So I was like, okay. That seems, and I remember having a reaction to that, being like, ooh, is he falling in love with me? Like, does he like me a lot? And I just remember being like,
again,
you know what?
I think it's the same thing as like Homeboy in this, where it's like, to take it to the next level is so scary for a lot of people.
And my ass was not trying to take it to the next level with Miller.
But that's probably why, though. Do you think maybe that's why he ghosted you?
Because I wasn't going to take it to the next level?
He doesn't feel like that he could come to you with that thought.
But he could if he wanted to, but he never, you know what I mean?
But I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
Let's dive into this. Because
let's go. Atticus Finch.
Look, I think as like girls, we could always like root each other on, but sometimes we need to like also hold each other accountable.
Put it on me.
I think because you're so loud about and very passionate about like, look, I don't want a relationship. I don't want this, yada yada, and you even felt it, that there was a bond and a relationship building.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said that makes me question that maybe he really did want to make that next step, but you didn't, maybe you really closed that kind of like tunnel of conversation for that because you're so strong-willed that he's like, the only way to like deal with it in his mind was to like just ignore it, because what's the point?
Okay, so all good points, and I hear you.
Yeah.
My main thing is it comes.
I don't agree with his actions, but I'm just trying to get into his mind.
I completely agree, and I appreciate that. Because I feel like, again, you know me, he could have just given me one solution. I'm now dealing with a million. That's the whole thing about ghosting, is you're dealing someone with, and like, dear reader, a million situations of what could have gone wrong when you could just tell you all this could go away if you just give me one answer, right? But you're giving me a million what ifs, howevers, right? So to address this one, Yes, you're right. That could be a situation to which I might have correct that. However, our rule was to be honest and to communicate. I was honest and I communicated the entire fucking time. A guy, the one who's the dad, we'll call him Papa, he basically was like, Rose, one of the most intimidating things about you is the fact that when your emotional intelligence, this whole idea that when you say, hey, these are my rules, men are just waiting for the other shoe to drop because they're like, this isn't real. There's no way she can be this cool. He was like, literally, and Papa was like, bro, you literally kind of carry yourself like a guy almost, like masculine energy in the sense that because, and this is the part that got me, because you hold all the power. And I was like, but that has nothing to do with me then. Because if you think that I hold all the power, then you're not communicating to me that you feel as though there's a balance of power happening. And that is where you lose me on this defense that Miller dipped out because he wanted to have a relationship. I don't think he wanted to have a relationship.
I don't think he wanted a relationship.
I think he wanted power. And the power he had was to ghost and give me nothing.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I agree with that.
Because if he wanted a relationship, he should have said something.
Ghosting does take your power back.
Absolutely.
In a fucked up way.
It's a horrific way.
Right. However, I don't know if he necessarily, again, I don't know the man. Yeah. I don't know the man. I don't know if he wanted a relationship. However, sometimes you just can't help how you feel. So if he's building these feelings and this attachment towards you, on top of the fact that he doesn't have the power, nor does he maybe even feel like he could even be honest with you. I mean, and again, that probably is on him because you said, hey, you can have that conversation. But it's scary though. Like I'm trying to have a little bit of empathy for him in this situation because it is scary to like really grow such an attachment and admiration for somebody, but know that like it's not going to grow into anything. So the feeling of rejection, of like whatever, and I'm not saying,
but he made that feeling of rejection by himself.
Exactly. I mean,
because here's my other thing. Sure. If he had come to me and was like, I have these feelings, they're growing, I want more, I could consider it. I could be like, okay,
but did you
know what?
But did you ever say that though?
But I didn't need to because I never needed that. That was never a conversation we needed to have. Like we talked about all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Where he was,
What's the other stuff?
Like we talked about like childhood trauma. We talked about trauma in relationships.
But as far as like what you wanted in a relationship or in the future.
Well, and that was my thing is like when I gave him the out of like, hey, I feel like I told him, I was like, I really like you. I really like your presence in my life. You literally met my freaking friend. So you came to my fucking birthday, bro. Like you've had your dick in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like I really genuinely like your ass. And I fucking laid that shit out. But I sense that you're going through a lot of stuff in your life right now that has to do with your family, that has to do with your job, that has to do with like you feeling inadequate and all this stuff. That I want to give you space. So if you need that space to like just think about yourself,
right?
I'm going to give that to you. And he was like, okay, yeah, I think I do. I think I do need that space. And I go, great. Well, my boundary is while you have that space, I don't want to communicate with you just because I think that's I don't want to like distract you. That's just my boundary. It's just like, I can't be with you if that's the thing. Cause the whole point is Miller, focus on yourself. Right. You can't focus on yourself if homegirl's still around, right? So I gave him that. And his response was, no, I want you around. And I was like, okay, well then we're going to have to figure out how to like do this.
Then maybe it was like maybe his reaction in the moment was like, no, I don't want to lose you because yes, that's how he feels, but then maybe he like sat on it. It was like, yeah, I do have just a lot going on. Like,
so then say that, bro. I even asked him.
Yeah. But I think like, I still think like, I'm just trying to get into his head. And I think with the train of thought and whether I don't agree with his actions. Obviously I'm like, you should have just fucking said something. Like, I agree with that. I'm with you like 1000%. I'm just trying to get into his train of thought. as much as like I can, because we can never be him. We'll never find the answers until he comes on this pod and gives us the answers.
And he never will.
And he probably never will.
I'm going to say right now.
So I can be with you right now and try to figure out what his mindset was.
And going on,
even though it probably
record,
doesn't even fucking matter. But let's just do it because we're girly pops.
We're
and
girly
we
pops.
love to do this.
We love to do this.
We love to dissect.
Oh my God, give me the frog and the fucking like scalpel. Let's go.
Figure out this puzzle.
Yes.
So, you guys have this situation, like sexual growth feelings. You said how you felt, but I also recognize you're going through a lot. I could give you space if you need that space because whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want to lose you. That's his instant reaction. But hearing something like that is kind of big, though. That is like, you know what I mean? Like, again, the emotional maturity for you to be like, okay, but like my boundaries are this. That's really big emotional maturity for you to,
and I am learning
what the situation is.
Men think they have it and they don't.
And it's like, but now I'm thinking, is it a power thing or is it just he was like, he probably sat on it and was like, well, damn, maybe I really do need this space. And well, shit, she's just probably like, all right, she's willing enough to just throw it all away and not talk to me. Cool.
But I was talking to him, so you got to take that idea off the table.
But because he said that he didn't want to lose you. But the fact that you were like, but if you really make this decision, then I won't talk to you. But he kind of essentially asked for you back.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, then let's try to figure out a new way.
You, right?
Well, and then it was like, okay,
I think he
then
just processed what it was.
And well, that's the thing though, is that I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, is you don't want to lose me, and you know that I really like you, and you're telling me you also really like me. Let's just see each other once a week. Let's cut back the time then. Like, I'll text you less, basically.
He doesn't have emotional maturity. At the end of the day,
but
he just doesn't.
Fucking thinks he does.
Yeah.
Which is the most disgusting thing about Miller. And if any girl, like, I just hope the next girl that he ends up with fucking sees it too. Because the idea, there's nothing worse than a good guy who fucks you over. Because he is a good guy.
Because it's like, at least if he was a real ass fuckboy, you're like, well, damn, that's on me.
I'd be like, game recognized game.
Right.
I'd keep it
you're
pushing.
like, well, fuck, he's a fuckboy. There's a reason and a time of when to point fingers.
Dude, mechanic, fucking engineer.
But when he's like a good
guys,
person who just made a really fucked up decision.
Who said all the right fucking things. Who did all the right fucking things. Who met my fucking friends, bro. Who literally would be called
and you
me
had his
beautiful.
dick in your mouth. You don't just put any dick in your mouth.
I'd never do that. And then this man had the fucking audacity to tell me he had emotional intelligence and that he was mature, but then just ghosts a bitch who literally gave you what any guy would want, which is take your space, boo. Do you.
Let me respect your space.
Again, the one default that I think happens sometimes with women is if we go around and we say men are stupid, why the fuck are we acting like they're geniuses? Why are we giving them the benefit of the doubt on that sense? Do you know what I mean? We have to hold their hands through this shit. And so my thing is there is nothing worse than a good guy who fucks you over because that shit hurts. And so to answer your question, no, I'm not over it because it hurts.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And it was 9 months of me.
And it's confusing. There's no
There's no
reason. Like, you're still trying. Like, that's what I think ghosting prolongs the healing. And it's fucked up to do that to somebody because it leaves them like. Because if he would have told you that reason, you probably would have moved on quicker and not been sitting on this, you know?
Yeah.
But because we're like trying to figure out.
And also, what pisses me off is your dumb ass, gross, disgusting, terrible, abusive friend reaches out to me and basically dangles Miller in front of my face being like, don't you want to know why? And I'm like, are you going to tell me? And he's like, no, I want to know why your friend isn't texting me. Like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with both of you guys? Like and again, the whole thing that I'm realizing is, for me, my conclusion is Miller wanted the power back. He realized that I was about my shit, that I stand on fucking game, and then guess what I didn't do? Change or break the rules. I stayed consistent as fuck, and no man likes that shit because they go, oh, damn, she's giving me everything I want.
A man that's emotionally unintelligent and a man
I'm not and that's the thing is this isn't me giving credit to emotionally intelligent men. This is me only giving credit to the ones that fucking say they are.
Yeah.
But aren't.
Yeah. Because it's like, at least if you're not.
Because my other thing is Miller probably saw me and was like, the other thing probably to your point, he probably saw me and was like, damn, this is the one. and probably got very scared and then was just like, I need to go.
He's like, I'm not ready. I got all this shit they gotta do.
I still want to go be a fuckboy. Then go do it, bro. But you have the fucking dick and spine to say it to my face.
Do you think there's like a bit of like misogyny in it too? Because you
Absolutely.
also very like, you know, sex
10,000%.
positive. You're open about just like, oh yeah, I've slept with other people. Like, do you think that also probably played an effect on like his ego as a man, you know? Like the little misogyny of like, oh, I don't want my woman to be like that.
But the thing is that we had an agreement that we were fucking raw, and we had an agreement that if we fucked other people, we would wear condoms. And
I mean,
and get tested.
I'm sure he likes it when it benefits him in this situation, but like deep down, does he actually want like
that's it's misogyny?
Like, does he actually want to be like? Is he in that space to be with the woman like that? You know,
patriarchy comes for all of us.
That's what I'm saying.
And the other thing is, you know, I've told him, and I've told numerous people on this podcast, which I think also confuses people, is that like, although I live this current lifestyle as a single, independent, strong woman, I believe in monogamy first. So
yeah, you're like the most monogamous. You're actually.
I love it.
Right? Yeah,
I truly do.
Like you would think that you'd be someone down. I mean, I feel like you're in an open single relationship, which you're like with situationships.
I'm dating. I'm Samantha Jones. I'm dating multiple people.
But once
at
you like
but
lock
I'm
it
very
down,
honest
you lock
about
it down.
And that's the thing, is if Miller had the audacity to actually come to me and be like, hey, remember when you said that you like really liked me? Like, what is that? I'd be like, okay, if we're gonna explore a relationship, I mean, we've been going at it for 9 months. Like, we can explore it. I could stop talking to other people. I could stop fucking other people. But you know what's so crazy? I won't know that information unless you tell me. I'm not a fucking mind reader, bro. That's my number one thing. But I was honest with him the whole fucking time. And so it's just so crazy to me that I'm like, I have to just basically be like, to your point, misogyny, the patriarchy comes for all of us, and he wanted his power back.
Or do you think like an ex came back or something? Sometimes it could be just as extreme as that.
I mean, sure, okay, but that's
still,
also like a hey, an ex came back.
Yeah,
have fun with her,
right?
But it's just, my whole thing is that it is literally like fucking someone for hours and not getting an orgasm. There's no satisfaction. Like, there's no like release. Like, I literally, this entire fucking time that I've had to like grieve and get over this fucking shit is all because this man did not have the
I don't think I've
spine.
ever seen you grieve a man as much as you've grieved him. And you've been in like serious relationships.
Yeah, but all those relationships gave me
They
like,
gave you closure.
Even the ones where I was like, no, come back. Remember?
Right.
We said we were going to be honest. We said we were not going to make, and this is the other rule. Miller broke. You're making me look crazy, bro. I'm on a fucking podcast still talking about your ass. You know what I mean? Like, you broke the, I know, but you broke the rule. I'm still talking about your ass, you know? So my thing is, again, in all my exes, even with fucking Moscow, like, we literally were able to sit down and be like, this is why it did not work. And this is why I will still, I don't know if I don't have love for Moscow, but I have respect. Like, this is why I will still like respect you as a person, and more so respect you as the person that I dated. I don't know who he is now because of all that weird shit he's posted on the internet, but like,
oh God,
you know, he's like bullying girls. I told you about this.
Yeah.
I don't know, it matter. But my whole thing is, I will respect you and speak highly of that moment that we shared. Him as Moscow as a partner, great effing dude at that time.
Yeah.
He did a lot of effed up things in that relationship, and he was not the best dude. But for the most, fine, he was fine, you know?
Right,
Southern Gentleman was one of the greatest men I've ever dated in my entire life. Literally perfect.
Oh,
Yeah, and everyone feels that way about him.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready to settle down. He was
Right.
not the one for me. He is going to make some girl very, very happy. I will always love that man. Truly and fully. Well, I will always have respect for Southern Gentlemen. I will always love that man.
Yeah.
And then there's other guys where I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, we agreed this was a summer fling. We had our due date, our deadline, or whatever. This is the one man who truly, if love is a game, he can say that I don't think it's true, but if he wanted that fucking power, he could say he won this round. I don't think he won the game, but he won this round.
Right. Because he got the power.
Yeah, he got his power back. Okay, great. You ghosted a bitch. Okay. Like, I'm also, I just feel bad for whatever girl he has to deal with, and he's gonna
he's just gonna carry on that trauma and that habit.
Yeah,
it's like instead of like actually facing it head on and dealing with whatever the issue is, it's like you just continue on to the next thing. And so that's, if anything, no, like you win, because one day you'll heal from him and it won't even matter. He has to carry that.
Yeah.
Like whatever thing that he's trying to get over, he has to carry that. Yeah. So you essentially, you're fine.
Thank you. And I mean, yes, like I'm still sad about it, but for the most part, I feel like I've healed a lot. Obviously, I was just triggered by our lovely Pisces. I love you, girl. We're gonna come see you DJ.
Yeah, send us like where you're where you're
DJing.
We're all about it.
Yeah,
unless it's like really house techno. I don't know.
We could go support her.
Okay, we'll support. Yeah.
We'll go for the 9:45, like 9:45, and like leave at 10:30.
Yeah. I mean, I'll pop a Molly and everything will be okay.
Oh my God, would you?
Yeah, I love Molly. I have some. Or shrooms or something. I would like definitely have to be on drugs if it's like some sort of house EDC type shit.
Girl, send us the information. Dear Pisces, send us the information.
Yeah, and we will go. And if it is something like that, then I'm definitely gonna have to pop a Molly at your.
And I will pop a yerba mate.
Yeah, and you'll just be the DD.
Hey,
but
like this was what triggered it. But for the most part, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna always kind of be like, man, that sucks. What if? What happened? Just never gonna know. And I think that's just the whole thing, is that I am such a person that I love a good ending. I'm such a writer.
You have to write your own ending.
I have to write my own ending. And it ends with him driving off a cliff. You know what I mean? It's really fine. What? He drove himself off the cliff.
Right, it's him. He did that.
That's not me.
Not your problem.
No, not my problem. Not my shit, not my show. Like, chill, bro.
Oh, I really want a man's opinion on that. Like the whole time I was thinking, like, what would Brian
Isaac
say?
and I? Oh, Kyle.
Oh,
Kyle and I. What do
Isaac.
I call
You can say Isaac. It's just when I spell it on like for SEO purposes, I have to say Kyle.
Got it.
But you can say Isaac on the show.
We've talked about it, and he kind of agrees with Papa, where he's like, Rose, you really are about your business, and that kind of like sometimes scares men.
Yeah.
And he's like, scared men run. And I was like, yeah, but you can't yell something over your shoulder as you're running. Like,
yeah, that's so true.
I do that too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's kind of like what I tried to do with this other gentleman, where I was just like, I'm so sorry. This is way too much. I love you though, but I can't be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
So
I can't believe you just talk to Isaac all the time. Like, do you
not all the time? No,
it just seems
not
like
all the time. He's just become like a really good homie. He just like truly is.
I do love that man.
Yeah, he's just the dude. He's the homie, and we just bonded over.
Have they have him and Jessica hung out? I'm gonna see Jessica.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea too.
To be fair, like she doesn't get brought up a lot. Like not in a negative way, but I just think I don't ask.
I'm just fucking nosy. I'm always like, oh my God,
fair.
Like I just need to know everything. I probably should just step away, because obviously what they have is clearly a bit toxic. And I shouldn't entertain that. But I'm just nosy. I just want to know.
But I do enjoy kicking it with him as like a homie. He's like truly become one of my close guy friends.
I know. I do miss Jess. Jess, I've been wanting to have her on the fucking pod, but she needed a break because she was just like, I'm just not in the space to like share my life right now. So, but she'll come back. So if you guys are wondering like, where the fuck has Jess been? Yeah. That's why. But
the Holy One will come.
The Holy One.
She's my favorite.
I know, the Christian one.
She's my favorite.
She's my favorite. I love her. But I was gonna say, but I'm seeing her on Friday.
Nice.
Just to hang out. So.
Oh, cute.
But you and Rachel need to go to that fucking.
Oh yeah, we need to do our rooftop.
You know what you need to do? Send me a calendar invite.
Oh,
that's how I get and to show up to anything.
Let me send a reminder right
now.
Oh my God.
Love a
he
calendar
texted back.
invite.
Who? Isaac to our little photo.
Oh my God.
He just said my favorites, and I hearted the photo that we took together.
Oh, did you do a group chat?
Yep. Of course. Always.
Plug yourself. Or any last words? Do you want any like closing statements?
Well, Pisces, you seem to have come to your own conclusion. That man is sad and lonely and just wants attention and affection. Most nurses are lifesavers, but sometimes they don't know how to save their own lives. Oh, that was like kind of a bar.
That was kind of a bar.
I kind of cooked.
Yeah, that kind of cooked. That was
like an air fryer cook.
Yeah.
was quick.
You had something there.
I had something there.
That was there. It was
Anyways, you can find me at Rosetta Stone on Instagram or the new blogontheblock.com.
good. Yes. And then follow me. Y'all ready motherfucking know it. Stefanie Maegan, or go to brocotherapy.com. Send more messages. I don't get as many emails, so you have a higher chance for me to read it. And honestly, I've been reading every single one as they come in. So this is your time now.
Let's go.
Just send it now. Love ya. Bye.
Bye. Jasper, say
Jasper's
goodbye.
like, what?
He's like, what, are we done, Mom?
Yeah, he's like, wait, what? We're done?
You gotta go to sleep now. How long was that one?
Growth therapy.